Massachusetts Institute of Technology, 600 fall 2008. Introduction to Computer Science and Programming. Erika Grimson, John Gutteg. Lecture 1. Goals of the course. What is computation? Introduction to data types, operators and variables.
The following content is
provided under a Creative
Commons license. Your support
will help MIT OpenCourseWare continue to offer high-quality educational resources for free. To make a donation or view additional materials from hundreds of MIT courses, visit MIT OpenCourseWare at
Courses. Visit MIT OpenCourseWare at ocw.mit.
Professor, good morning.
mit.edu.
Good morning.
Students, good morning.
Try it again. Good morning.
Try again. Good morning.
Thank you.
Professor, thank you.
This is
600, also known as Introduction to Computer
100, also known as Introduction to Computer Science and Programming.
Science and Programming.
My name is Erika Grimson.
My name is Erika Grimson. I have together Professor John
Professor John Gutteg
over here. We are gonna be lecturing.
Here, we're going to be lecturing the course this term. I want to give you a heads
up. You're getting some serious
firepower
this term.
John
was department head for 10 years. Felt like
head for 10 years, felt like a century.
And in course 6, I'm the current department.
In course 6, I'm the current department head in course 6.
Head in course 6.
John's been lecturing for 30 years, roughly. For 30 years, roughly. All right,
I'm the young guy. I've only been lecturing for
25 years.
25 years.
You can tell
I have less gray hair than he does.
Less gray hair than he does. What I'm trying to say to you is we take this course really seriously. We hope you do as well.
We hope you do as well.
But we think it's really
but we think it's really important for the department to help everybody learn about computation, and that's what
everybody learn about computation, and that's what this course is about.
This course is about.
What I want to do today.
What I want to do today is 3 things. I'm gonna.
Today is 3 things. I'm going to
start. Actually, I shouldn't say start. I'm gonna do a.
I shouldn't say start. I'm going to do it in the middle. A little bit of administration.
Little bit of administrivia, the kinds of things you need
the kinds of things you need to know about how we're going
to know about how we are gonna run the course.
I want to talk about
the goal of the course, what it is,
the goals of the course, what it is you'll be able
to do at the end of this course when you get through it. And then I want to begin talking about the concepts and tools of computational thinking, which is what we are primarily going to focus on here. We are gonna try and help you learn how to think like a computer scientist, and we are gonna begin talking about that towards the end of this lecture. And of course,
this lecture, and of course throughout the rest of the lectures that carry on. Right, let's start with the
let's start with the goals.
And I'm going to give you goals.
I'm gonna give you goals in 2 levels. The strategic goals are the following. We want to help.
Strategic goals are the following. We want to help prepare
freshmen and sophomores who are interested.
Freshmen and sophomores who are interested in majoring
in course 6 to get an easy entry into the especially for those students who don't have a lot of prior programming experience. If you are in that category, don't panic. You are
category. Don't panic. You're going to get it.
Gonna get it.
We're going to help you ramp.
We're gonna help you ramp in, and you'll certainly be able to start the course 6 curriculum and do just fine.
The course 6 curriculum and do just fine and still finish
on target.
We don't expect
everybody to be a course 6 major. Contrary to popular opinion. So for those are you not in
So for those of you not in that category,
That category, the second thing we want to do is
second thing we want to do is we want to help students who
to help students who don't plan to major in course 6 to
don't plan to major in course 6 to
feel justifiably confident in their ability to write and
justifiably confident in their ability to write and
read small pieces of code.
Small pieces of code. For all students, what we want to do is we want to give you an understanding of the role computation can and cannot play in tackling technical problems, so that you will come away with a sense of what you can do, what you can't do, what you can't do, and what kinds of things you should use to tackle complex problems. And finally, we want
to position all students so that you can easily, if you like, compete for things like your your office and summer jobs, because you'll have an appropriate level of confidence and competence in your ability to do computational problem solving. Those are the strategic goals. Now, this course is primarily aimed at students who have little or no prior programming experience. As a consequence, we believe that no student here is underqualified for this course. You are all MIT students. You're all qualified to be here. But we also hope that there are not any students here who are overqualified for this course.
What do I mean by that?
And what do I mean by that? If you've done a lot prior programming, this is probably not the best course for you. And if you are in that category, I would please encourage you to talk to John. Or I after class about what your goals are. What kind of
what kind of experience
you have, and how we might find you a course that better meets your goals. Second reason we don't want overqualified students in the
We don't want overqualified students in the class. It sounds a little
class. It sounds a little nasty, but the second reason
nasty. But the second reason is
an overqualified student, somebody who's, I don't know,
an overqualified student, somebody who's, I don't know,
programmed for Google for the last 5 years is gonna
for the last 5 years, is going to have an easy time
in this course, but we don't want such
this course, but we don't want such a student
accidentally intimidating the rest of you.
Accidentally intimidating the rest of you. We don't want you
to feel inadequate when you're simply
to feel inadequate when you're simply
inexperienced.
And so it really is
so it really is a course aimed at students with little or no prior programming experience. And again, if you are not in that category, talk to John or I after class, and we'll help you figure out where you might
want to go. Okay, those are the top.
Okay, those are the top level goals of the course. Let's talk sort of at a more tactical level about what do
we want you to know.
Do we want you to know in this course?
What do we want you to be able to do?
What we want you to be able to do by the time you leave this course. So here are the skills that we would like you to acquire.
The first skill
the first skill we want you to acquire is we want you
to acquire is we want you to be able to use the
basic tools of computational thinking to write small scale programs. I'm gonna keep coming back to that idea, but I'm gonna call it computational thinking. And that's so you can write small pieces of code. And small is not derogatory here. By the way, it just says
derogatory here, by the way. It just says the size of things.
The size of things you are gonna be able to do. Second skill we want you to have at the end of this course
we want you to have at the end of this course is the
ability to use a vocabulary of computational
use a vocabulary of computational
tools in order to be able to understand
in order to be able to understand
programs written by others.
So you're going to be able to write.
So you're gonna be able to read.
This latter skill,
This latter skill, by the way, is incredibly valuable.
by the way, is incredibly valuable. Because you don't want to do everything from scratch
Yourself, you want to be able to look at what is being
yourself. You want to be able to look at what is being created by somebody
else and understand what is inside of
else and understand what is inside of there,
whether it works correctly and how you can
whether it works correctly and how you
build on it.
can build on.
This is one of the few places where plagiarism is an okay thing.
It's an okay thing. It's not bad.
It's not bad to, if you like, learn from the skills of
If you like, learn from the skills of others
in order to create something you wanna write. Although we'll come back to plagiarism as a
Plagiarism is a bad thing later on.
bad thing later on.
Third thing we want you to do.
Third thing we want you to do is to understand the fundamental both capabilities and limitations of
both capabilities and limitations of
computations and the costs associated with them.
And the costs associated with them. And that latter statement.
And that latter statement sounds funny. You don't think
Sounds funny. You don't think of computation.
Of computations having limits, but they do.
Having limits, but they do. There are some things
that cannot be computed.
Cannot be computed. We want you to understand.
We want you to understand where those limits are.
Where those limits are. So you're going to be able to.
So you're gonna be able to understand
abilities and limits.
Abilities and limits. And then finally, the last tactile tactical skill that you are
the last tactical skill that you're going to get out of this
gonna get out of this course is you're gonna have the ability to map scientific problems into a computational frame. So you're gonna be able to take a description of a problem and map it into something computational.
Map it into something computational. If you think about it,
Now, if you think about it, boy, it sounds
boy, it sounds like grammar school.
like grammar school.
We're going to teach you to read.
We're gonna teach you to read. We're gonna teach you
We're going to teach you to write.
write. We're gonna teach you to understand what you can
We're going to teach you to understand what you can and cannot do.
and cannot do. And most importantly, we are gonna
And most importantly, we're going to try and give you the
try and give you the start of an ability to take a
start of an ability to take a description of a problem.
description of a problem from some other domain and figure
From some other domain and figure out how to map it in.
out how to map it into that domain of computation so you
To that domain of computation, so you can do the reading and writing.
Can.
you want to do.
do the reading and writing that you wanna do.
Okay, in a few minutes,
Okay, in a few minutes we are gonna start talking then
we're going to start talking then about what is computation.
about what is computation. How are we gonna start building
How are we going to start building those tools? But that's
those tools? But that's what you should take away. That's
what you should take away. That's what you're going to gain.
what you're gonna gain out of this course by the time
Out of this course, by the time you're done.
you are done.
Now, let me take a
Now, let me take a sidebar for about 5 minutes to talk
sidebar for about 5 minutes to talk
about course administration. The administrivia things that
course administration, the administrivia, things that we're going to do in the course.
we're gonna do in the course, just so you know what
Just so you know what the rules are.
the rules are.
Right, so
Right, so class is 2 hours of lecture a week.
class is 2 hours of lecture a week. You obviously know what.
You obviously know where and you know when,
Where and you know when, because you're here.
because you're here.
Tuesdays and Thursdays at
Tuesdays and Thursdays at 1100.
11. 1 hour of rest.
1 hour of recitation a week on Fridays, and will come
Meditation a week on Fridays. We'll come back in a second to how you
back in a second to how you're gonna get set up for that.
you're going to get set up for that. And 9
And 9 hours a week of outside the class work.
9 hours a week of outside the class work. Those 9 hours
Those 9 hours are gonna be primarily working on
are going to be primarily working on problem sets.
problem sets, and all of the problem sets are gonna
And all the problem sets are going to
involve programming in Python, which is the language we're
programming in Python, which is the language we're going to be using this term.
gonna be using this term. Now, one of the things you're gonna see is the first
The things you're going to see is the first problem sets are
problem sets are pretty easy.
pretty easy. Actually, that's probably wrong.
Actually, that's probably wrong. John, right?
John, right? They're very easy. And we're going to
and we're gonna ramp up.
To ramp up. By the time we get
By the time you get to the end of the term, you're gonna
to the end of the term, you're going to be dealing with some
be dealing with some fairly complex things. So one of the
fairly complex things. So one of the things you're going to see
things you are gonna see is we are gonna make heavy use
is we're going to make heavy use
of libraries or code written by others.
or code written by others. It'll allow you to
It'll allow you to tackle interesting problems. I'll have
tackle interesting problems without having to write from
you to write from scratch, but it does mean that this skill
scratch. But it does mean that this skill here is going to be
here is gonna be really valuable.
valuable. You need to be able to read.
You need to be able to read that code and understand it,
Read that code and understand it, as well as write your own.
as well as write your own.
Okay,
Okay,
2 quizzes
2 quizzes.
during the term.
During the term, the dates have already been scheduled.
The dates have already been scheduled. John, I forgot to look.
John, I forgot to look them up. I think it's October the 2nd.
Them up. I think it's October 2nd and November.
And November 4th. It'll be on the course website.
4th. It'll be on the course website. My point is
My point is, go check the course website, which by the
check the course website, which by the way is right there.
is right there.
If you have
If you know you have a conflict with one of
if you know you have a conflict with one of those quiz dates now,
those quiz dates now, please see John or I right away.
now please see John or I right away. We'll arrange something ahead of time.
We'll arrange something ahead of time.
But if you,
But if you,
the reason I'm saying that is
the reason I'm saying that is, you know that you are
you know that you're getting married that day.
getting married the day, for example, we will excuse you
For example, we will excuse you from the quiz to get
from the quiz to get married.
married. We'll expect you to come right.
We'll expect you come right back to do the quiz
Back to do the quiz, by the way, but the boy, tough crowd.
Okay,
All right.
all right.
If you have
If you have a conflict, please let us know.
conflict, please let us know. Second thing is
if you have an MIT documented special need
if you have an MIT documented special need for taking quiz,
for taking quizzes, please see John or I well in advance.
please see John or I well in advance, at least 2 weeks.
At least 2 weeks before the quiz.
Before the quiz.
Again, we'll arrange for this, but you need to give us enough
for this, but you need to give us enough warning so that we can
warning so that we can deal with that.
deal with that. Okay, the quizzes
Okay, the quizzes are open book.
are open book. This course
This course is not about memory.
is not about memory. It's not how well you can
It's not how well you can memorize facts. In fact, I
memorize facts. In fact, I think both John and I are a little
think both John and I are a little sensitive to memory
sensitive to memory tests given our
tests, given our age. Right, John?
age, right, John? This is not about
This is not about how you memorize things. It's about
how you memorize things is about how you think.
how. So their open note, open book.
Open note, open book. And
It's really gonna test your ability to think.
test your ability to think.
The grades for the course will be assigned roughly, and I use
Grades for the course will be assigned roughly, and I use the word roughly.
the word roughly because we reserve the right to move.
Because we reserve the right to move these numbers around a little.
These numbers around a little bit, but basically in the
Little bit. But basically in the following percentage.
following percentages, 55% of your grade comes from the
Just 55% of your grade comes from the problem sets.
problem sets. The other 45% come from the quizzes.
The other 45 come from the quizzes. And I should have said this.
And I should have said there's 2 quizzes and a final exam.
2 quizzes and a final exam. I forgot that.
I forgot that final exam during final period.
Final exam during final period. So the quiz.
So the quiz percentages are 10%, 15%, and 20%,
Quiz percentages are 10, 15, and 20%.
which makes up the other 45%.
The other 45. Okay.
Okay,
Other administrivia.
other administrivia.
Yeah. Just look through my list
Let me just look through my list here.
here. First problem set.
First problem set. Problem set 0 has already been posted.
Problem set 0 has already been posted.
This is a really easy one.
Really easy one. We intend it to be.
We intend it to be a really easy problem set.
A really easy problem set.
It's basically to get you to load up Python on your machine.
Get you to load up Python on your machine and make sure you understand.
And make sure you understand how to interact with it.
How to interact with it. The first problem set.
The first problem set will be posted shortly. It's also
Will be posted shortly. It's also pretty boring.
pretty boring, somewhat like my lectures, but not John's.
Somewhat like my lectures, but not John's. And that means
you know, we want you just to
we want you just to get going on things.
get going on things.
Don't worry, we're going to make them more interesting.
Don't worry, we're gonna make them more interesting as
As you go along.
you go along.
Nonetheless,
I want to stress that none of these problems sets are intended to be lethal.
lethal. We're not
Lethal.
using them to weed you out.
We are not using them to weed you out. We are using them to
We're using them to help you learn. So
help you. So if you run into a problem set that just you
if you run into a problem set that just you
don't get, all right?
Right? Seek help.
Seek help.
Could be psychiatric help.
Could be psychiatric help. Could be a TA.
Could be a TA. All right? I recommend the TA.
I recommend the TA.
My point being,
Please come and talk to somebody.
please come and talk to somebody.
The problems are set up so that if you start down the
set up so that if you start down the right path,
right path, it should be pretty straightforward to work it through. If you start down a plausible but incorrect path, you can
plausible but incorrect path. You can
sometimes find yourself stuck in the weeds somewhere, and
yourself stuck in the weeds somewhere. We want to bring you back.
Want to bring you back in.
Again, so part of the goal.
So part of the goal here is this should not be a grueling.
This should not be an grueling,
exhausting kind of task. It's really something that should be helping you learn the material. If you need help, ask John, myself, or the TAs.
Ask John, myself, or the TAs. That's what we're here for.
That's what we are here for.
Okay.
Okay.
We're going to run.
We're gonna run primarily a paperless subject. That's why.
Primarily a paperless subject. That's why the website is there.
The website is there.
Please check it.
Please check it. That's where everything gonna be.
Where everything's going to be posted in terms of things.
Posted in terms of things you need to know.
And
in particular, please go to it today. You will find a form.
Please go to it today. You will find a form there that you need to.
There that you need to fill out to register for or sign.
Fill out to register for or sign up for rather.
Up for rather a recitation.
Recitations are on.
Recitations are on Friday.
Right now we have.
Right now we have them scheduled at 9, 10.
Scheduled at 9, 10, 11, 12.
11, 12, 1 and 2.
1 and 2.
We may drop one of the recitations, just depending on.
Drop one of the recitations, just depending on course size.
Course size, all right?
All right, so we reserve the right.
So we reserve the right, unfortunately, to have to move.
But unfortunately, to have to move you around.
You around.
My guess is at 9.
My guess is that 9 is not gonna be a tremendously.
It is not going to be a tremendously popular time.
popular time, but maybe you'll surprise me.
But maybe you'll surprise me. Nonetheless, please go in and sign up.
And nonetheless, please go in and sign up.
We will let you sign up for whichever recitation makes sense for you.
Makes sense for you. Again, we reserve the right to move people around if we have
The right to move people around if we have to, just
to
to balance.
balance load, but we want you to find something
Load, but we want you to find something
that fits your schedule rather than ours.
Your schedule rather than ours. Okay.
Okay.
Other things. There is no required text.
There is no required text. If you feel exposed without a textbook, you really have to.
Exposed without a textbook? You really have to have a textbook?
Have a textbook. You'll find one recommended. Actually,
You'll find one recommended. Actually, I'm going to reuse that word.
Gonna reuse that word. John, at least suggest it on
John, at least suggest it on the course website.
The course website.
But I don't think either of us are.
I don't think either of us are thrilled with the text. It's
Thrilled with the text. It's the best
we've probably found for Python. It's okay.
We found for Python. It's okay. If you need it, it's
If you need it, it's there.
there. But we're going to base.
But we're gonna basically not rely on any specific text.
Particularly not rely on any specific text. All right. Related.
Right. Related to that, attendance here is.
To that, attendance here is obviously not
Obviously not mandatory.
mandatory. You ain't in high school anymore.
You aren't in high school anymore.
I think both of us would.
I think both of us would love to see your smiling faces, or
Love to see your smiling faces, or at least your face.
at least your faces, even if you are not
Even if you're not smiling at us
smiling at us every day.
every day. Point
I wanna make about this, though, is that we are
I want to make about this, though, is that we are going to cover
gonna cover a lot of material that is not in the
a lot of material that is not in the assigned readings.
assigned readings, and we do have assigned readings
We do have assigned readings associated with each one.
associated with each one of these lectures.
Of these lectures.
If you choose not to show up today, or sorry, you did
to show up today, or sorry, that's a bad way. You did choose to show up today.
choose to show up today. If you choose not to show up in
If you choose not to show up in future days,
we'll understand. But please also
we'll understand. But please also
understand that the TAs won't have a lot of patience with
that the TAs won't have a lot of patience with you if you're asking
a question about something that
that was either covered in
the readings or covered in the
the readings or covered in the lecture, and is pretty
lecture, and it's pretty straightforward.
straightforward. And we expect you to
We expect you to behave responsibly,
behave responsibly, and we will as well.
and we will as well.
All right.
All right.
I think the last thing
I think the last thing I want to say is we will not be
want to say is we will not be handing out
class notes.
notes. Now this sounds like
No, this sounds like a draconian measure.
a draconian measure. Let me tell you why.
Let me tell you why. Every study I know of, and I suspect everyone John knows
No, and I suspect everyone John knows
about learning stresses that students learn best when they
stresses that students learn best when they
take notes. Ironically, even if they never look at them.
even if they never look at them.
Okay, the process of writing is exercising both halves of your
process of writing is exercising both halves of your brain, and it's actually
brain, and it's actually helping you learn, and so
helping you learn. And so
taking notes is a really valuable thing.
a really valuable thing. Therefore, we
are not gonna distribute notes.
distribute notes. What we will distribute
What we will distribute for most lectures is a handout
for most lectures is a handout that's
mostly code examples that we are gonna do.
code examples that we're going to do. I don't happen to have one today.
I don't happen to have one today because we are not going
Because we're not going to do a lot of code.
to do a lot of code.
We will in future.
We will in future.
Those
notes are gonna make no sense. I'm quizzing.
are going to make no sense. I'm guessing outside of the lecture.
Guessing outside of the lecture. All right.
So it's not just
So it's not just you can swing by 11:04 or grab a copy.
Swing by at 11:04 and grab a copy and go off and test.
And go off and catch some more sleep.
Some more sleep.
What we recommend is you use those notes to take your own.
As you use those notes to take your own annotations.
Annotations to help you understand what's going on.
To help you understand what's going on. But we're not going to
But we're not gonna provide class notes.
provide class notes. We
want you to take your own notes to help you if you
take your own notes to help you, if you like, spur your own
learning process.
All right, and then
All right, and then finally, I want to stress that John, myself, all
finally, I want to stress that John, myself, all of the staff
of the staff Our job is to help you learn.
Our job is to help you learn. That's what we're here for.
That's what we're here for.
What we get excited about.
It's what we get excited about. If you're stuck, if you're struggling, if you're not
stuck, if you're struggling, if you're not certain about
something, please ask.
Please ask. We're not mind readers.
We're not mind readers. We can't tell when you are
You can't tell when you're struggling
other than sort of seeing the expression on your face. We need your help in identifying that.
We need your help in identifying that, but all of
the TAs, many of whom are sitting down in the
front row over here.
Front row over here are here to help. So come and ask.
Are here to help, so come and ask. At the same time, remember that they are students too. And remember that they're students too. And if you come and ask a question that you could have easily answered by doing the reading, coming to lecture, or by doing the reading, coming to lecture, or
using Google, they're gonna have less patience.
They're going to have less patience.
But helping you understand things that really are conceptual difficulty is what they're here for, and what we are here for. So please come and talk to us. Okay.
That takes care of the administration.
That takes care of the administrivia. Preamble.
Trivia preamble. John, things we add.
John, things we add. Professor Guttag, 2 more quick things.
This semester, the class is being videotaped from OpenCourseWare. If any of you don't want your image recorded and posted on the web, you're supposed to sit in the back 3 rows.
Thank you.
This semester, your class is being videotaped for the web. You're supposed to sit in the back 3 rows.
And I think you're all very good looking.
Professor Guttag, because the camera may pan. I'll turn around, so if you wanna, you...
So please feel free to be filmed.
I'll turn around, so if you want to, move to the back, I won't.
No, move to the back. I won't see who moves.
Won't see who moves. All right, great, thank you.
Great, thank you, John.
John.
So that the other thing I wanna mention.
The other thing I want to mention is recitations are also very important. We will be covering material in recitations that are not in the lecture.
Recitations are also very important.
Not in the reading, and we do expect
the lectures